and welcome to Blender. Now at first look I realised that this interface can look really confusing and I could spend 2-3 videos spending time explaining each bit and each panel so that you know what it is, but really until you get stuck into it you wouldn't understand what I was talking about anyway. These panels, really you get to understand them by doing stuff in Blender. This first video is going to be really short and it's just simply how we navigate around this main view that we'll be working in all the time, the 3D view. Now the first thing I should say is if you haven't got a 3-button mouse, get one. Preferably one with a scroll wheel in the middle. It is going to make life so much easier. There are ways around it. You can emulate a 3-button mouse, but it is really the easiest way to get around it. Now also, Blender is set up by default to use a long PC style keyboard with a number pad. I don't have one of those. I've got a Mac keyboard that doesn't have a number pad. So I simply go, and this is the just one thing I'm going to show you in here, user preference, input, and I click on emulate numpad, and it tells you what it does there. The main 1 to 0 key discs act as the numpad ones. It does stop those 1 to 0 keys doing something else, but it isn't something that is particularly important. So if you've only got a small keyboard without a number pad, click on emulate numpad. Okay, actually I will just show you a couple more things that I click on which aren't set by default, and that's this zoom to mouse position, which I'll show you what it does in a minute, and auto perspective, which we'll come to later. Okay, once you've done them, click on save user settings and close down. Okay, you're presented with this screen as your opening screen, and there are 3 things there. You've got this, which is your camera. You've got this, which is your light, and you've got this, which is an object. And basically, anything that you create in Blender is going to be made up of multiple objects. Now, very oddly, to select things in Blender, you use your right mouse button, not your left mouse button. So in other pieces of software we're used to using our left mouse button. In Blender we use our right. We can change that in the user preferences, but I'm not going to, simply because most YouTube videos, most tutorials out there on Blender stick to the right mouse button, so I'm going to do the same for consistency's sake. So if I want to select the lamp, I click on that, or if I want to select the camera, I right click there. And I've got screencasting turned on, so you can always check, rewind the video and check and see what I'm doing down here. Or I can right click on the cube and select the cube. Now simply to move, before we get into moving the cube, to move around we use our middle button, and if we just press our middle button down, we can rotate left, we can rotate right, we can rotate up, and we can rotate down. Okay? If we hold shift while we're doing that, then we can pan in the same way. So that's it. Very simple. How you navigate around an object, how you navigate around the scene. What I said about one of the user preferences, scroll to mouse position. If I hold the mouse over there and just scroll with my middle mouse button, I zoom into that object. If I want to zoom in up here, I can do so. If I want to zoom in down here, I can do so. So that's why I have that ticked on, so I can choose exactly where in the scene I want to zoom to. And that's the basics. So That's the end of the first video. Have a play, simply moving around the screen, moving around the interface, and in the next video we'll look at how to move an object. Okay, thank you very much and goodbye.